is where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandopi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski goes, dives onto the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the lap car and around Mills at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass a little. A 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
Last week's race at Monza saw an incredible finish between two drivers putting it all on the line. Timo Vascalampi had heartbreak after his last lap efforts to get around the leader and take his first win of the season were dashed. Instead, it was Gernot Frisch that would come through Parabolica and across the finish line to take his 4th win of the season. Despite those wins racking up, Frisch has yet to catch Antipizzo, who is just a few rounds away from winning the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series Championship. What happens in the next chapter of this exciting tale? We're glad you've joined us at Laguna Seca to find out, where the Global SimRacing Channel is set to bring you all the action. Up in the booth today, you'll find Asi and Puhaka joining yours truly, Nick Schmeg. Joe Peak has director's duties today, and as always, he'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Beautiful Monterey County, California is the setting for today's round, as Laguna Seca has become a staple of racing, not only in the real world, but also in iRacing. To get a better feel of what these classic Lotus Formula One race cars are up against today, let's get a better look with the GSRC lap guide.
Welcome to Laguna Seca. Located just east of Monterey, California, it's hard to deny that this is one of the more scenic American road courses. It travels up and down a hillside which not only offers spectacular views, but one of racing's most iconic corners. Clocking in at 2.25 miles in length, 11 turns split up the current configuration. I say current because up until 1988, the track's layout was shockingly simple with a mere 9 dangerously fast corners. But despite becoming a much more technical track, this difficult nature was retained in its modern form. Turn 6 in particular places an emphasis on precision and daring with its tricky dip at the apex and narrow racing line. But the most well-known spot on the track is of course the corkscrew. Blind and kinked on entry, it then whips the driver through a chicane which drops you nearly 60 feet. It's earned a reputation worldwide for forcing even the most daring competitors to second-guess themselves. But there's honestly a refreshingly wide variety in types of corners, making it a perfect track for driver coaching and training. Elevation changes, differing cambers, and every sort of apex imaginable leaves seasoned veterans and newcomers alike spending hours trying to perfect a lap. With the track becoming popular for hosting IMSA, IndyCar, and MotoGP in its recent history, it also brings out lots of vintage racers due to the Monterey Historics each year. Likely to remain a fixture on the American racing scene, this legendary circuit is almost always high on drivers' best-of lists. Its history and its uniqueness are sure to delight all for years to come.
There you see the many ways around Laguna Seca, but honestly, there's a lot of ways not to get around here. This track has caught quite a few talented drivers out over the years.
It has, and it is, and hello from me as well. From Andretti hairpin, under the fruit bridge, all the way through turns number 4 and 5, up the hill to turn 6, down Rahal Straight, onto the corkscrew, through Rainy Curve and last couple of corners. It may be one of the shorter tracks in the calendar, but it sure is difficult. It's difficult not pronounced as I pronounced Rahal wrong, it's Rahal, thank you very much, but also difficult to navigate through, difficult to overtake, and a very challenging circuit indeed. I wonder who will be the fastest out here today. Regardless, basic information, 2.2 miles, 3.6 kilometers, 11 turns full of action, and I believe they will be racing here for Nick. Just how many laps?
They're going to be around here for 34 laps. We are able to take a look at our race details. This is round 10 of 12. These rounds are ticking away. It's been an incredible season, and it's sad that we've only got just a few races left. Not sad for these drivers, though. They are going to be really putting in the hard work late in the season to get the job done and to try to get up there in the championship standings. But yeah, 34 laps here around this 2.25 mile track. Open setups as always, and they've got to watch out for those penalties today. 17 incident points will get you a stop and go penalty. And we've seen a lot of drivers get caught out here by the off tracks, but a lot of times you're not going to be able to reach 17 incident points without a little bit of damage.
Indeed, and when you look at the driver points, we should have them next. You find the situation very interesting. It is between the challenger, Mr. Consistent, Antti Lepistö, 396 points in his name, versus the unbeatable, the Red Baron, the multi-time champion, Rottekamp-Flieger, Gernot Fritzsche, just 40 points behind. He will be needing to rack up those wins. Already got 4 in the season. Will he get his 5th? That is the question. Alex Milward behind them, rounding out the podium in terms of points. Martin Grunberg, 4th, and Nick Thiessen. His season has been good so far. It has led him to the 5th position. And I believe in the team points, we have some even closer battles, Nick.
We do indeed. We've got even closer battles, but we've got a name on top that we haven't seen all season long. It's been the Warsteiner Arrows racing team leading this championship hunt all season long for the first 9 rounds. Coming into round number 10, though, it's the Auto Delta Alfa Romeo team. Gernot Frisch's team is on top. They have finally gotten around the likes of Hall, Milward, and Herner there. And then we've even got a swap further back. The Williams team is up to 3rd place. They've surpassed the Maritini Racing Team Lotus. Team Reebok still back there in 5th, but like you see, 7, 13, 25 points, everything very tight over there, with just a few rounds left, where that's going to be something to keep an eye on as well.
Indeed so, indeed so. Now, storylines. Passing. Always very difficult here. Meanwhile, I'm watching these drivers try to navigate the qualifying, but passing, it's gonna be difficult, especially after first couple of laps. When you get those tires heated up, it's gonna be a question of who will make the mistake to let the other by. But also, Nick, we got some danger zones here as well.
Yeah, we always think of the corkscrew, right, when we come to the Laguna Seca, and these cars, which have so much ground effect on them, such low cars to the ground, they're not only going to be struggling for grip through there, but, the off-track there is so easy. The handling through there, so tricky. You see Nim Cross there, actually. Very awesome to have him in the race. He's going to be one of those drivers trying to get through the corkscrew. And we've got even other turns here that aren't as appreciated. Of course, we've got turn number 6. I've seen a lot of drivers already in practice get caught out by that. Something else to keep an eye on.
Yeah, let's just hope that there's not gonna be too many racing incidents out here today. As Nim Cross takes his final lap to the line, 1:14.4, 8 tenths behind Keith Herner. We are still waiting on Gernot, and he is lap toe. He is now ending lap number 1, 1:11.6. 5 tenths behind, half a second behind Vaskilampi and Rasimas and Milward and Thiessen as well ahead of him, but he still has his faster second lap left, and crucially, he's ahead of his championship rival Lepistö.
Oh, and Lepistö is going to jump from 7th up to 4th place. Yeah, Frisch down in 6th place. Lots of names on top. Teemu Vaskilampi, hey, you gave him the motivation last week maybe to come back and get his first win. Wasn't super confident that he was going to be able to get the job done here at Laguna Seca, but certainly looking quick early.
Yes, and also we are live at GSRC.tv for some live timing action. Make sure to take a look there if you want to see those glorious lap times and all that data on your screen. If you have a second screen ready, or if you want to connect it through your phone or something, make sure to have that up. Gernot in the last corners. Oh, he has to save, and that's the lap done. That's the lap done for Gernot. He cannot improve on this lap anymore. That was crucial to get right, and he doesn't. So he will be starting at most from 6th position, and that is certainly going to be a surprise, unless he surprises us all by improving here. No, 112 flat, and that mistake at the penultimate corner, that caught me out, and also I think caught some other drivers out as well, because Gernot usually not the type to make mistakes, but hey, there you go.
Yeah, wow, lots of drivers really struggling. I mentioned just how many veteran drivers have been caught out here. And you see it, Lapista's going to be starting down 5th. It looks like Frisch down in 7th. This one might produce some interesting results and might shuffle up those standings quite a bit. Qualifying looks to be coming to an end. I don't see any other cars on track, I don't think. Doing a quick look through now. We've got 26 drivers on the grid, so let's take a look at that field today. It's Teemu Vaskalampi starting on the pole. He's looking for some sweet revenge after last week at Monza. Mike Rasimas going to be starting alongside the 4 and the 11 cars. Jamie Hall and Alex Millward are going to be in row 2 behind them. And there you go, Antti Lepisto back in 5th place. He's going to be starting alongside Nick Thyssen in the 5 car. Gernot Frisch and Martin Gronberg will make up row number 4, and row number 5 is going to be Thomas Torp and Marc-Andre Dufresne.
Yes, Sergio Fernandez starting 11th and Derek Rollwell starting 12th. We are waiting for drivers to grid up. Daniel Banker 13th, Marco Derricks 14th. Then it's John Stevens and Bradley West, 2 veterans in 15 and 16. Robert Simpkins, Gorchinet 17, 18. Peter Konieczny 19, and Jesus Basilias rounding out the top 20. Juan Micosta, Carl Villeneuve, Keith Herner, Nimprost Jr., Frick Tenkate, and Dennis Shanning rounding out your 26 driver field as they are preparing for the start, Nick. And I'm gonna say this right now, none of the top 3 are going to win this race.
That's a bold prediction. They are getting gridded up very quickly here at Laguna Seca. 34 laps ahead of them. Teemu Vaskalampi from the pole. He's going to have the inside line into the little crest over the front straightaway here, which is turn 1. And that double apex Andretti hairpin, that is turns 2 and 3. Watch out for some cars to slide off track or make up ground there.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a really, really tight battle all the way through the first laps. Cold tires, remember, folks. We'll see how well they do there as they are getting ready for the start. And by the way, I'm gonna throw my prediction right now. Nick Thyssen, in case anyone is wondering, is gonna win.
From 6th on the grid, we'll have to see the lights are out. It's a very chaotic start behind him. They went 4 wide for a moment, but Teemu Vaskalampi is going to jump away from it all. Antti Lepisto already up to 2nd. Ozzy, you might be right because he's got Nick Thyssen on the outside. He's going to have the preferred line. The momentum cars spinning in the background. They went 3 wide through turn number 3, and Alex Millward jumps up to 2nd place.
He has jumped up to 2nd place. It is quite clean in the back despite all the calamity. Everyone making it through. Mike Rasimas from 2nd place has lost a lot of time. Marco Derricks too. But yeah, Rasimas is out of the winning contention right away. Cold tires catching these drivers out. But it is Vaskalampi leading. Millward 2nd. Lepisto P number 3. Then it's Fritzsche, Hall, Granberg, Thyssen.
Absolutely incredible start. It completely shuffled the field just like you had called. They're going to be going into the corkscrew for the first time. Vaskalampi gets through cleanly. Everyone on those cold tires. You see a little bit of a bunch up for 3rd place. It's Antti Lepisto, who's just gotten around Gernot Frisch for that position.
Yeah, he has, so that's very crucial for the championship as well. Remember, Antti, 40 points lead in the championship. So he needs to finish ahead of Gernot, and then maybe he can put some bubbly drinks to cold and wait for the next couple of races. But it's not over yet. It's gonna be a tight battle. After the first lap, we saw a lot of shuffling around for positions. Vaskalampi, however, taking a good start. He's being challenged by Millward, and this is gonna be a very interesting one, Nick. These two have been as inconsistent as Antti has been consistent throughout this season. Both of them have been making mistakes. We have given Millward a new nickname, Mildonado, after this season. Vaskalampi has mostly been his own worst enemy, and these two now in P1 and 2. Which one of them will crack, or will either of them crack?
We'll have to find out. We continue to watch that battle for third place. I can also report that Jesus Pasilas has gone to the pits. He was one of those cars that got a little bit of damage on the opening lap. Oh, a bit of a lockup into the corkscrew for Untitled Chapter. That's going to allow Gernot Frisch to close in. This is a crucial set of corners here through Rainy Curve and then down through the final 2 turns of this 11-turn track. So easy to make a mistake through there. You're still going downhill at such a high speed. And then through the last turn there, you got to watch that. AstroTurf might catch you out. A lot of drivers struggling on acceleration through there.
We call him the Red Baron, and he has Antti in his sights. Will it be another victory for the ace here? Gernot trying to go around the outside, not quite able to pull it through, and as such has to pull in behind Antti, who did a solid in the defense. Just lock up that inside line, and that way it's gonna be very difficult to pass here. But they're gonna need to get a move on and get an agreement on who will be number 3, because that leading duo, they are running away. Last time by, Vaskilampi 12.5, Milvord 12.6, Lepistö 13.2, Fritsch 13.2.
Battle for third has brought Jamie Hall into the mix just a little bit. He started in front of both of these drivers. One of those drivers that just got completely swamped there on the first lap, got completely surrounded. Ooh, Lepisto a little bit more conservative. It looks like Frisch might have the pace to get around him. The question here, Ozzy, though, is just where can he make that pass? Where can he get the run to the inside and get it done? Laguna Seca doesn't give you too many options, but when, I mean, we're going to just see how much bravery. And we've got a wreck behind him. Looks like Barry West is involved.
Yeah, he went west here, and not in a good way either. We'll see where it happened. At the corkscrew, actually. So he was running up that hill, and then John Stevens just missed his braking point, and Barry West had to go wide as well, and was a casualty. Went around very quickly, but thankfully no real damage there to Barry West's car, and he's able to keep going, albeit in the 24th position. We got also some tight battles behind as well. I'm just taking a look, you know, Robert Simpkins, Marc-André Dufresne, Michael Simas as well, trying to charge his way through the pack. Remember, Michael Simas, he started in the 2nd place. He was the 2nd fastest man in qualifying, and now he's all the way in P20, trying to make up those positions.
Yeah, just a horrendous start for Rasimus. He's trying to get back around these drivers, really struggling. You can see around the outside there of Marc-André Dufresne and Marco Derricks. He was another one that spun off at the beginning, was Derricks, and now Rasimus up on the curb. That's going to hurt him big time on the Ray Hall straightaway into the corkscrew. Give Marc-André Dufresne that position, but he's going to lock it up, and we might see an answer here from Rasimus.
Yeah, Rasimus is just going to have to calm down. He needs to make up those positions. He's got time, 34 laps. We still got 30 left, but still he can't afford those mistakes, and he lost a lot of time in the last sector as well, behind Marc-André, because he was so close behind in the dirty air, in those fast corners. Marco Derricks as well, we've seen him driving some impressive races, so Rasimus is gonna be someone we'll keep half an eye on throughout the course of this event. But right now, I think the real talking point, that is the battle for the P number 3 between Antti Lepistö and Gernot Frisch. Frisch right behind Antti right now. He's closing up, and Jamie Hall as well. Looking at these guys battling and wondering if he can learn a thing or two. Remember, the best driving school in the world for these cars is about 2 car lengths behind Gernot. Unfortunately, it's a driving school that is very difficult one to attend.
Gernot right now is in a driving school that he didn't sign up for. He is stuck behind that number 2 car of Antti Lepistö. In fact, he's lost a bit of ground to him. Jamie Hall is right there.
Oh, Jamie Hall, he is there, and he's trying to catch up as well in that Warsteiner Arrows car. And they've been very good in the team championship, remember. A lot of time spent in the lead, now overtaken by the Alfa Romeo guys, but still Jamie Hall has been an important part of their success story, albeit it's been Alex Milward carrying them throughout the season. Speaking of Milward, he's lost a bit of ground to Teemu Vaskilampi now, 1.4 seconds between those guys. Last time by Vaskilampi 2 tenths faster, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Antti Lepistö lapping about equal times to Milward, so we'll have to wait and see where, in which direction will this race still go. A lot of close groups here. Maybe, you know, Nick, position 15, Harville New.
Oh, we had some trouble behind him. trouble behind him as well. This is Sergio Fernandez and Peter Kaniski, who have slid off the track. This is turn 6, it looks like. This was some synchronized spinning between the two.
Yeah, and Konieczny is just able to stay ahead of Richten here. Daniel Banker, Robert Simpkins, Mike Rasimas right behind them, as is Dufresne. So Rasimas has got back ahead of Dufresne, and he's now got a lot of food for himself. He's like Pac-Man, eating all those pellets out, because it is Simpkins, it is Banker, it is Tenkate as well. And these battles mean that he has cars in his sights all the way to 11th position.
Just a train of cars here fighting for 15th place. Like you said, or 14th if you include Fernandez, 13th if you include Villeneuve. So many cars back here, a stack up as a result of those cars spinning off. How about Robert Simpkins trying to look underneath? That's actually Marc-Andre Dufresne looking underneath Robert Simpkins behind there, pardon. Now you have Marco Derricks back there in that bright yellow car trying to get around Marc-Andre Dufresne. These cars battling from the start of this race, still going at it strong.
Indeed, so Derricks is looking for his opportunity to climb up into top 20. Dufresne, not an easy man to pass necessarily. Derricks just has to keep his head down and stay working, put your nose in the grindstone, as they say in hockey, and, you know, get to passing. Look for those mistakes from Dufresne, because in Laguna Seca it's very difficult to force a move unless you are a lot faster. Konieczny, Tenkate spins around. He is hit hard by Daniel Banker. Oh my, that's a solid 270. It is not May 16 anymore for car number 16, but still, that was straight out of Tony Hawk.
It was, and that is a tough one. We'll watch a replay here. Down through the corkscrew. Just a little bit eager on the acceleration maybe for Freak Tenkate, and this was all in front of him. Like you said, terrible timing for Daniel Banker to come down the hill. He launched him into the air. Wow.
Yeah, and that was a hard impact for them, and Freak Tenkate gonna come to the pit lane as a result of that, and Daniel Banker all the way down right in front of Nim Cross right now. That's a place you don't want to make mistakes in, but we'll talk more about that later. But Gernot right now in a good battle between him and Antti Lepistö for P number 3. He has caught up back to Antti once again. They lost a lot of time last time by. They are losing a lot of time this time by too. And look at Gernot here, just hounding Antti, looking for those mistakes, looking for a gap where he can find a way through. You said something, Nick, about where can Gernot make the pass. I'm gonna call it now, into the last corner with a late breaking move.
Yeah, he's been losing a bit of time there before, but here you see the exact opposite. That Red Baron coming up strong. He was side by side for a moment on the Ray Hall straightaway with Antti Lepistö. Lepistö was given room though into the corkscrew, and yeah, not only is Gernot there, but so is Jamie Hall. This has reeled in both of those drivers. And Antti Lepistö, all he can do right now is defend.
Yeah, and the good thing for Gernot is that we don't have any Australians in the race, so the Red Baron can keep flying. But Gernot is, look at him, just right behind, sliding a little bit out of the corner. And we know Antti, he's the kind of guy who can keep it consistent. He doesn't crack under the pressure. And once again, Antti just keeping his car on the preferred racing line, blocking off those passing attempts when he can, and otherwise just looking in his mirrors and seeing a lot of red, but not being too fast about it. I will say this right now, Antti is driving like a champion. He may not be the fastest man throughout the course of this season, but he is so consistent, and that in and as itself is just so impressive. It is so impressive to see.
Gotta keep half an eye on the battle behind these guys as well. Martin Gronberg and Nick Thyssen are going at it for 6th place. They've been nose to tail this entire race as well.
Yeah, they have been. Nick Thyssen had an excellent start. He was actually on the heels of the 2nd place, but then caught a little bit wide, ran a little bit wide on the exit of turn number 2 into turn number 3, and that's as a result of that he lost a couple of positions. So as my bet for the winner, well, he's not looking like he can win this race so far, but he's also another driver who has made very few mistakes throughout the season. He's shown winning pace throughout this season. And if these guys now start battling, Antti, Gernot, Jamie, then Martin Gronberg and Nick Thyssen are gonna be right up to them very soon, and that is for P number 3 at that point, and that's gonna be one you don't wanna miss, folks. But main focus, Antti versus Gernot versus Jamie. three very different drivers, and three drivers who are all hungry for that podium, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Nick Thyssen get up there a couple of times this year. He even got the win at Nürburgring, at the Nürburgring, but Martin Gronberg, one that has not been able to get on that top step of the podium. He's going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to get that done today. A little bit closer up front, though, Ozzy, you pointed out. Timo Väskälänpää, he might not have this thing completely secured. Alex Millward has caught him just a little bit.
No, Alex been faster the last couple of laps. Then Väskälänpää 112.8, Millward 112.6. Looking at the last lap times, 113 flat for Teemu in lap number 9, and that's the one where he made a mistake. Alex is starting to get the car under him, and that's the point of the race where you can feel the car out a little bit. You know, early laps you get the cold tires, then you can easily overheat the tires, and then the car starts to get lighter at this point. It starts to get lighter, it starts to get faster. Alex has gotten the car under him a little bit sooner than Teemu. Maybe Teemu is just a little bit erring on the side of caution at this point, and meanwhile we jump to P13. And there is a good battle too between Carl Villeneuve, Michael Stevens, and John Stevens running wide.
John Stevens off track, and Peter Kaniski, that car in the background that was spinning out of control once again. But we're going to see a replay here of John Stevens. When we caught up to the action, he was already coming off the track. He was trying to get around, looks like Carl Villeneuve maybe?
Yeah, he was defending against Carl Villeneuve, and Villeneuve was on the outside, and turning in very aggressively was Villeneuve, despite the fact that Stevens was still kind of alongside, and Stevens had to take to the inside, hit the big curb tear, the big sausage tear that is waiting for unsuspecting drivers, and then just ran wide. Nothing he can do, and I think that bent up his front wing as well. Yes, it did, so that was a double whammy for John Stevens. He lost the position, he went off track, lost a lot of time, and got damage in his car as a reward, and Carl Villeneuve, like a good thief, took that position away and escaped into the night.
While we watched that, we had a little bit of side-by-side action for the lead. Alex Millward took a peek around Timo Väskälänpää on the Ray Hall straightaway, wasn't able to get it done. Just about got up alongside of him, but Väskälänpää under the most pressure he's faced all day long, it looks like now.
Yeah, and behind them as well, Jamie Hall has gotten past Gernot now, and he's right behind Antti. So Jamie is now challenging Antti, and I think he will be a little bit more aggressive in his approach than Gernot Fritsch. In turn number 1, we're seeing two battles here. Jamie Hall to the outside, braking very late into turn number 2. We'll have to see what goes here. Oh, Jamie sideways! And he slid all the way to the end, but Gernot is gonna challenge him to the inside, to the next corner. So Gernot Fritsch is gonna want that 4th place back, and he wants it now. But Jamie Hall had to do a little bit of a 2-foot magic save there to keep the car under control. Lost a lot of time to Antti, and as a result of that, Gernot right behind, settling into the cruise, and that's gonna allow Antti to run away a little bit with this position, I have to say, and I wonder if this runaway comes with the Epic Sax guy.
That's exactly what I was wondering, is if Antti Lepisto can now run away, if Jamie Hall maybe holds up Frisch a little bit. That'll certainly help him in terms of a championship run. There's still 7 seconds behind the leaders, though, of Väskälänpää and Millward, who are still nose to tail. They're coming through the final turn right now, about to be working lap number 14 here.
Indeed so, and now, well, look at this. Look at these battles. Teemu versus Alex for the lead. The two crash masters of this season. The two guys who had the pace but never had the consistency, now fighting it out, and behind them that 3-car train keeps going and is at risk of growing into a 5-car train as Martin and Nick are trying to catch up with the Martin Gronberg and Nick Thiessen. But let's focus on the leaders for now. I want to see this Alex versus Teemu. Alex, we know he can be a little bit aggressive at times. He can go for those moves, especially when he's frustrated. He's doing a lot of mistakes. Teemu, whereas he's not too aggressive, he can be aggressive at times, but he mostly is his own worst enemy. So when you combine the misfortune and the mistakes these two have made throughout the course of this season, I wonder which one of them will come out on top.
They are going at it strong, Vascalampi and Millward. Neither one has won this season, although we did see last week at Monza, Vascalampi so close, just a turn and a half away from contending from a victory at Monza. He is looking for redemption today, and so far he's got it. He's just got to hold on to this lead, and with about 20 laps left, that is a tall order when Alex Millward is coming this fast.
Yeah, he's coming very fast behind him, so, you know, Teemu's gonna have to just keep his car on track. The good thing for Teemu is that this is not Monza. You can actually overtake, overtaking is very difficult here. You can overtake here, but it's not easy at all. So all Teemu has to do is avoid the mistakes, but then again, it is Teemu we are talking about, so, you know, might be a little bit more difficult than it sounds.
Absolutely. We've seen so many drivers get caught out by the turns, especially that one today, turn 6. Always surprised at how many drivers struggle through there and into the corkscrew. Here we see them head down. This is going to be crucial. You mentioned how turn 11 here is a great place to get passing done, but that all comes down to what kind of run you can get through turns 9 and 10, through Rainy Curve, and then through the right-hander of turn 10. Very difficult to keep up momentum, especially when you're this close tucked up underneath another car.
Yeah, the dirty air comes to an effect, the wake of the car in front of you. That has a big effect, and it's gonna create a gap before the last corner and gonna make that overtaking all the more difficult. What you need to do is you kind of need to get a good exit from the corkscrew and force the guy offline into turns 9 and 10, and then you can try for a move into the last corner, or if you're a lot faster, then you can just use that pace to your advantage. But this is not the kind of track where straight line speed will do a lot of great for you. A lot of drivers here running at or near the maximum wing setting. So they're running a lot of downforce, and it's gonna depend on the ability to keep the car on track, ability to keep the tires alive, to get the grip going, and as a result of that, keep themselves consistent and fast all throughout the race. And something to mention also, Nick, there's not a lot of room for the tires to pull down, not many long straights. So once you get those tires heated up, it can take a lot of time to get them back under you, as Sergio Fernandez and Marco Derricks are side by side.
I just saw a spin on track. That was Sergio Fernandez. He has been struggling. We've seen all sorts of drivers back here towards the rear of the field. I guess this is more of the mid-pack. Marco Derricks, Sergio Fernandez, Marc-Andre Dufresne, they have all been clumped together. They're behind John Stevens, who's pulled a bit of a gap over them now. He's up in 14th.
Yeah, and Thyssen is now up and past Martin Gramberg for that 6th position. And that's gonna spell disaster, at least trouble for Antti, for Jamie, for Gernot, because we know how fast Nick can be on his day. He's already sliding the car, throwing it about. And if he catches up to that pack ahead of him, they are 3 seconds ahead. Well, that's gonna be an almighty battle, and he's gonna pull Glamberg and Twarf with him. So, might be a good battle. Might be a very, very good battle. And I think we should get a replay of that Nick Thyssen pass, actually. We just saw it as well. And, you know, he did exactly what he needed to do. It wasn't turn 11. It was outside on turn number 10.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about, you know. Corkscrew, very close, get yourself underneath, get tucked underneath, and then just get a pass going. He did it one corner earlier than I was thinking, but that was good stuff from Nick Thyssen.
Yeah, if you want to get a pass done here, you have to be bold sometimes, and that's exactly what Nick Thyssen was. He was tired of waiting. As we get close to that halfway point in this race, he just did not want to wait any longer around Granberg. And now, like you said, Granberg is being chased heavily by a driver we haven't talked much about today, that number 9 car of Thomas Twarf. He started at 9th, he's up to 8th, he's had a quiet day, and he might just get another spot here soon.
Yeah, Thomas Twarf, he's been coming back this season after a long hiatus, and he's been quite impressive within the top 10, been showing some good pace every now and then, kind of got overshadowed by the emergence of Nick Thyssen at the later course of the season, but still has been pulling solid results for him, and he's looking at a good result from here today. Another point I want to talk about, Teemu and Alex, they are now heading towards their first bunch of lappers in not too long of a time. There's still a bit of a gap. They already passed Keith Turner, but that's a not a thing that's gonna be something they have to be worried about in a track as short as Laguna Seca. There's gonna be lappers, and I wonder if there's gonna be room for them to let these guys pass at every opportunity, or will we see lappers influencing the race of the leaders?
Not something we have to worry about too much normally in the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, but at a track this small, yeah, we absolutely have got to keep an eye on them. I believe Robert Simpkins and Nim Cross Jr. are going to be the first ones that they will be coming up on.
Yeah, the next ones they're going to be coming up on, and I think both of them experienced drivers, they know rules like the back of their hand, at least in one of their cases, I very much hope so. And, you know, they're going to give room to these guys, but there's just sometimes unfortunate situations like, you know, someone coming up right behind you at corkscrew and someone catching up, you know, at the misopportune time, at a bad time, and as a result of that, you can get a lapper influencing the race result, even if they did absolutely nothing wrong. So that's something we have to keep an eye on at the later portion of this race. So I need to watch the lap times of Nick Thiessen and compare them to Antti Jamie Hall, and Gernot Fritzsche. Last time by Nick Thiessen 112.9, not quite catching up enough to Gernot, just a couple of hundredths of a second. And here we go again, single lap times. Antti 112.7, and then Gernot 113.1, Jamie Hall 112.7 as well. Oh.
John Stevens on screen, you see, has gone off. He was chasing down Sergio Fernandez, trying to get around him for 14th, and another driver back in this battle caught out by attrition. Again, though, no damage for those drivers. John Stevens just had a nice slide. Great save up against the wall. So close.
And there was no contact either. It might have looked like there was contact, but Fernandez, I think, was more to the outside than Stevens anticipated, and Stevens just, you know, avoided him, lost it on the braking, and spun to the outside, but he did an absolutely marvelous job of keeping that beautiful Lotus 79 in one piece, as Colin Chapman intended.
This top split racing never disappoints, no matter if you're battling for the lead like Vascalampi and Millward are, or if you're battling back for a mid-pack position. Lots of talented drivers in the field, and we have seen that happen all season long.
Look at the pace for the leaders now. It's starting to heat up. Vascalampi 12.4. Millward responds 12.12. Lepistö 112.8. Wow. This just goes to show you how fast these two guys on the lead are right now. Neither of them pulling punches at all, and Millward very close up turning.
Millward is sending it a little bit deeper and deeper every time it looks like into the turns. They are going to be catching Robert Simpkins here soon for lap traffic. That's the last thing that they want to worry about now, but if it's just one car at a time, it shouldn't be too bad for them. Through turn 6, they go on to the Ray Hall straight away. Heading into the corkscrew, you got to watch out for what kind of run Millward can get through here. That is what it seems to all be coming down to.
Yeah, he went very aggressive into the corkscrew, and he's very close at these corners. Can he harass Teemu enough to find a place into that last corner? Ooh, he took a tight line. Teemu goes very wide indeed. He looks to the inside, but doesn't find a place from there. So they're gonna still be heading in the following order to the next lap. Teemu Vascalampi and Alex Millward. But now Teemu is under attack, and now his line is compromised. Look at him. He has to defend into turn number 2. He has to defend here. Stay the middle line. Oh, Alex braking very late, locking up his brakes. Still gonna get alongside. Still gonna get alongside. He was so close to contact, and he manages to just save it. That was an unbelievable save from Alex Millward, but he's spinning again.
And another one.
And he lost a lot of time. Wow. It is like a drift show there. Woo.
It is. This is some classic Formula 1, but someone just tuning in might see Formula Drift. That was incredible hand-eye coordination from Alex Millward.
Yeah, that
great
was well
handling
saved.
skills. Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't interrupt the good slide, as we say in Finland. Älä jätä hyvää sladia kesken. You can't interrupt a good slide. So, and Alex certainly didn't interrupt it. He slid it all the way to the end, and despite those troubles, look at his pace now. He's once again right up to Teemu. I thought he would be losing time due to the hot tires, but Alex, I think he's gonna want to use every single bit of tread out of those Goodyear rubbers, and he's catching up to Teemu just as they are catching up. to Mr. Simpkins and Mr. Cross.
That has got to be disconcerting for the leader, Vascalampi. He sees just how much pace there is there. I have to check back in on that later because we've got a battle for 9th place. This is Juanmi Costa up here in 9th. A little bit of front-end damage for that number 12 car. And he's a little bit off track there as well, but he's fending off the battle behind him between Derek Rolleveld and Mike Racines for 10th place.
Yeah, and it was actually Rolleveld conceding that 9th place to Costa earlier on this lap before the corkscrew. And Juanmi Costa now ahead, Rolleveld behind, and Racines, he's ultra fast. He's gonna come up behind them very soon indeed. I just want to check in on the leaders. They got passed already on Robert Simpkins. They next have Nimkos Jr. to deal with. Vascalampi still ahead. And Milward, oh, he's closer than ever. He is closer than ever.
He is indeed. Watch out for this lunge into turn 11. Is he going to try to set something up here? He's going to lose a bit of time through turn number 10. I think that's going to hurt him just perfectly enough for Vascalampi to hold on. But they are about to go by Nim Cross here on the front straightaway. And then down into turn numbers 1, 2, and 3 they'll go.
Indeed, and Teemu was dancing on the edge of disaster at turn number 10. He was just one wheel over the curb on turn number 10 to the outside. And I think he was coming out of the corner with his wheel straight instead of turning. And that just means when your wheel is straight in the corner, the car is in a perfect balance because you don't have to turn, right?
Sure. We'll go with that one. Down to 10.5 laps to go for these drivers. We have seen some just fantastic action in this series the last couple of rounds for the race lead, and Laguna Seca has not disappointed.
No, it has not. Many drivers fear it, many drivers hate it, some drivers love it. We have some in the audience out there today, and we have some driving. And Milward versus Vascalampi has been the order of the day. Can Vascalampi bring Finland its first win of the season, as amazing as it would be? No wins there, not for Vascalampi, not for Lepistö, despite the fact that they've been near the front all throughout the season. Milward is trying to take that away, however. 10 laps to go for Milward to make it happen, braking very late on the outside. He's starting to lose the car a little bit though, is Milward. He's starting to get more and more sideways. And I wonder, is he starting to overcompensate the fact that he has to be in the dirty air behind Vascalampi, once again running a little bit wide, so he's going to be starting to make mistakes. But we also seen mistakes from Teemu throughout this season. So, you know, it's going to be a very interesting battle. They're coming up to Daniel Banker next. I think Daniel has enough room to let them by.
Yeah, absolutely. We also had a little bit of an attempt for a pass for third. Hall had gotten up to Lepisto, but now Hall under threat from Gernot Frisch from back in 5th place now. Remember, he got by him a handful of laps ago. This battle has not calmed down since we first saw it.
No, it has not, and they still have those lappers to deal with as well. Gernot, Jamie, and Antti in reverse order here. And we have to kind of focus on 2 battles because Alex has a good run exiting the last corner now, and he's gonna get alongside Teemu here. I'm just gonna call it now. Turn 1 and 2, and Alex is gonna try to make a move on the outside. Teemu has the inside locked out. Alex has to try to round the outside. There's a lap car who's wondering what's just coming at them at the speed of sound. Peter Konieczny making room for them. Alex still on the inside into turn number 3. This is his best chance yet. Teemu gonna close off on the outside. Can he get a good exit? Yes, he can. Alex still trying alongside into turn number 4, but nothing doing there. Will Teemu keep it on track? Yes, he will. And as a result of that, he will retain the race lead. But this is no battle. Oh, Alex! Oh, that was so close to a disaster. Not like this. Come on, mate. That was a bit too bold, bit too brave, and not quite beautiful enough to be bold and beautiful.
Milward showed all his courage through turn number 5. He's going to lose a bit of ground, but some fantastic action between the two. He's got another big slide through the corkscrew. That's going to help Vascalampi get away through a rainy curve as well. That was incredible stuff from these 2 leaders.
Yeah, Alex is just going way too sideways right now. He's growing frustrated behind Antti. I think he's starting to lose his marbles just a little bit, but we know the pace this man is capable of unleashing. We also know that, yeah, he can be prone to a little Maldonado moment every now and then, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. But once again, he's trying to catch up to Teemu, who's been so far very consistent, but he too is struggling a little bit with the lines here. We can see the tires starting to wear out. We can see the fuel is starting to grow lighter and lighter. The cars are starting to grow lighter and lighter. And P number 3 now, Nick, they're coming up behind Daniel and Robert, who are battling. And it's Antti, it's Jamie, and it's Gernot right behind them.
Yeah, a battle for 20th place, interrupting this battle for 3rd place. Look at this train of cars. Gernot Frisch, I think, is going to get left out in the cold. He's going to be stuck behind. Now he'll be able to get through, but a lot of time lost. That's going to really help Jamie Hall pull away, and now Hall can focus his efforts on getting up and around onto the Pisto for that final podium position. Because they have now gapped Gernot Frisch. He's going to try to come back through the corkscrew a little bit off track. He's got to be careful. So easy to get a slowdown penalty through there. He might have actually racked one up. Can't tell here.
I wonder what would have happened if there would have been slowdown penalties in 1996. But yeah, Gernot is now having to play catch-up to Jamie and Antti. The good thing for the Red Baron is that Jamie and Antti are going to start battling here. There's no doubt about it. And when the two cars are battling, it's usually the car who is behind them in the line who's going to benefit from that one, as Jamie tried to go alongside Antti, but Antti was like, nah, no, try harder, man. Come on, try next one.
Hall was looking for the over-under. Lepisto said no, as you see Frisch. Oh, a car spinning behind him. Was that part of that battle for 20th? It was. It was Daniel Banker.
Yeah, Daniel Banker spinning out of that one as well. So he was 20th position. Isn't that any longer a simple mistake in turn number 3? Just a spin, and he's gonna lose a bit of time. But thankfully his car is still in one piece. I hate to see this Lotus 79 get wrecked, you know. That's why I've been so harsh to Teemu all throughout this season. So harsh to Alex. You can't break this. It's a classic. Come on. Timeless design.
You might get your wish to see a Finn in victory lane, though, Ozzy, because we are down to 6 laps to go, and Teemu Väskälänpää has put on a dominant performance, although, albeit under threat constantly from Alex Millward. He's got probably the biggest gap we've seen since the first 5 laps of this race. The question now becomes, can Millward close that gap for the 2nd time today, and can he get past for the first race?
Yeah, and Gernot got by Hall as well. So Gernot Frisch now in 4th position. So that was a simple pass. He got a good run out of the last corner. Jamie made a mistake, got a little bit sideways, and as a result of that, Gernot just needed to put his car on the inside in turn number 1, which isn't really a corner with his cars, and he had the pass locked out. Now Gernot once again behind Antti, trying to play catch-up. Jamie losing a bit of time as a result of that, and the leader still running away from them. But crucially, Teemu has been a little bit faster last time by than Alex. And Alex is now 7/10 away on the line. Let's see the gap here. He's not benefiting from the draft, but he has a bit of dirty air still, because the draft works in a mysterious way with these cars. You get the dirty air from about a second away, but you only get draft from 6/10 away. So, you know, Alex is having no benefits and all the downsides of this, as he's 7.5 tenths away.
Well, if there's any time in the race to unleash the full extent of power you've got in your car and your driving abilities, now is the time for Teemu to put on those afterburners, flex some muscle up there in that top spot, and try to pull away from Millward and just cruise to victory.
Nick,
looks like he might be able to do that.
Nick, party mode didn't exist in 1978. But yeah, Alex is getting a little bit sideways once again, and this is now growing to a point as, Freak and Carter runs wide ahead of them, not proving trouble for the leaders. This is going to a point where I think Teemu now has to keep it mistake-free in these last 5 laps, and he's home for the win. Not jinxing anything, because we saw how close he was at Monza, for example. My question is, can Gernot do anything about Antti? Because Gernot, now that he's free, he's caught up to Antti once again.
And behind them, Jamie Hall has been caught by Nick Tisson. All of a sudden, Hall has fallen off the pace severely, and now he's under threat from losing 5th place. He was looking at a podium just a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, so Jamie Hall has been a little bit lackluster in these last couple of laps. Maybe his car is hitting up a little bit. Maybe he has some damage on his car or something that's affecting him. He has the left side of the front wing bent up, but as we know with these cars, that doesn't necessarily mean any big damage. You can catch it from a curb. But Nick Thiessen is now hounding him and is right up to Jamie Hall's rear. And oh, Thiessen getting very wide as well. So a lot of these drivers having a lot of difficulties at the later portions of the race, keeping the car under control. Meanwhile, Gernot is right under the rear wing of Antti Lepistö, taking a wide line through there, which is very interesting. But he's certainly faster right now, lapping 1:11.9, faster than our leader, Teemu Vaskalampi, last time by, who, by the way, in case you didn't want a breather, has been caught up again by Alex Milward. So we got a battle for P1 and P3.
Incredible stuff that Laguna Seca has produced for us today. And these drivers as well have been a big part of it. Time is ticking, though. For Alex Milward, he's down to 3 laps to go.
Yeah. Can he? Oh! Gernot was hit by Antti. And Gernot is waiting. Gernot is waiting. Look at Gernot Frigidaire. He is a gentleman. He's waiting for Antti to get back going. He's going alongside the track. Look at the amount of positions he's losing. He's waiting all the time until Antti Lepistö gets by him and give this man a round of applause. He made a mistake. He owes up to it. It's championship on the line. And Gernot still has the time to be a gentleman.
Amazing. Gotta give the tip of the cap there to Gernot Frisch. Fantastic stuff from him. That not too many drivers I know would be able to do that.
Yeah, Cynic would say that with 20 championships in his name, he can afford to give one away. But you know that is not something many drivers would do. But that is the kind of classiness that this series has come to known for, and Gernot and Antti still gonna continue their battle, albeit in P7 and 8, and that's gonna escalate Nick Thiessen all of a sudden to P4 and Jamie Hall to P3. So we talked earlier on, Nick, about how Jamie Hall was looking at the podium. Well, he's standing on the podium at the edge of it at least, but Nick Thiessen now right behind him.
We'll have to keep half an eye on them and half an eye on our leaders. Teemu Vaskalampi, he's got it down to 2 laps to go, but Alex Milward just set the fastest lap time of this race. Now is the time. Now look at this. Milward's going to look underneath him.
And he's so close. He's going to have to look to the outside to the next corner as well. Oh, faking it to the inside. That was a nice move from Alex. Gonna brake very late. Sideways. He lost it. He's back again. Alex Milward. He was sideways. He almost lost it, and somehow he managed to recover it. But Teemu still retains the race lead for now in our penultimate lap, and that was a heart attack moment for both of those drivers. I was sure Alex was gonna send it to the side of Teemu there, but kudos to those guys. Both kept it out from each other, Nick.
Milward's going to have to be deep on the binders because they're going to have 2.25 miles left to get it done through turn number 11 for the penultimate time today. Teemu Vaskalampi a little bit off track. He's got just over 2 miles left to get this victory at Laguna Seca. He's got 11 turns to try to hang on to this. Milward charging forward from second position. A little bit of a bobble from Milward behind him. He's got a big slide he's trying to hang on to. That is everything that Vaskalampi wants to see in his rearview mirrors. Vaskalampi just has to keep this clean. Milward's got to be careful not to overdrive, but he's got to get up there and contend.
Yes, and use live.
Now he's off track.
Yeah, he saved the trick for the penultimate lap, going wide on the exit of last corner. A little bit naughty there, perhaps, but he needed to do that. And Alex now, he's fighting his tires. He's well behind Teemu. He's cracking under the pressure. And Teemu Vaskalampi, is he gonna bring it home for the first time ever in Sunday Grand Prix, Nick?
It would be a Cinderella story if he could complete these final few turns cleanly. He is looking perfect through the corkscrew after heartbreak last week at Monza, losing it in the final turn. Teemu Vaskalampi is headed towards the final turn at Laguna Seca. It is going to be a victory in the 10th round of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series for Teemu Vaskalampi.
Teemu Mäki-Itken! Woo!
And the nation of Finland rejoices.
Finally, that was a long time coming.
Jamie Hall gonna finish off the podium. He's gonna be able to hang on to third place over Nick Tisson. A couple other drivers coming across the line. Lapisto will get that spot over Gernot Frisch. Incredible stuff.
Incredible fight all the way to the end, and it was Teemu who was able to hang on, still waiting for these last drivers to finish. Something to point out, Barry West has actually passed Marc-André Dufresne in the last lap, so that's 15th place changing hands there. But yeah, it was a race that had everything. It had good battles, it had star drivers, it had incredible storylines that have been wrapping up, it had drama between the championship leaders, it had sportsmanship like only this series has. That contact between Gernot and Antti could have so easily been championship deciding, but instead Gernot did the right thing, and he has a pure heart. And it had, it was just the race of the season, race of the year so far, just gonna say it now, and not just because of the winner.
Yeah, perfect way to sum it up. You love to see stuff like that. We're going to step aside here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We've got events coming up throughout today and throughout this week. Make sure you mark them down on your calendar as they slide across your screen. We've got a full rundown of results, 26 drivers that took the grid today, and driver interviews when we come back. Welcome back to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey County, California, where the dust has settled, although there's quite a bit more dust left out on the track. Lots of cars driving hard today and spewing some of that off-track material onto the racing surface. It was Teemu Vaskalampi, 0.3 of a second. Finally, after last week's heartbreaking finish, he's going to get it done over Alex Millward. Fantastic race. If you're just catching up to us, you got to go back and take a look at that finish. Jamie Hall, Nick Tisson, Martin Gronberg will round out the top 5. That's because Thomas Twarf will finish 7th, and because Lapisto and Frisch, after making contact, great camaraderie between the two. 7th and 8th place they will wind up, and the top 10 will be finished off by Mike Rasimus and Juan Costa.
Did so, and then as we move on to the next slide, we see Carl Villeneuve finishing 11th, Derek Rollwell finishing 12th, Gorchinet 13th, Marco Derricks 14th, Barry West 15th, Marc-André Dauphin 16th, then it's Sergio Fernandez 17th, Dennis Shanning 18th, John Stevens 19th, Robert Simpkins 20th, and Nim Cross Jr., Peter Konieczny, Daniel Banker, Keith Turner, Freek ten Kate, and Jesus Basillas rounding out your 26 driver field. And despite the amount of drama and the amount of close calls we saw, and we only saw 2 retirements from Freek ten Kate and from Jesus Basillas. And now in here we have our first interview, and it's gonna be surprisingly myself actually doing it, as they just decided behind my back. So we have Teemu Vaskilampi here in the victory lane as the winner, spraying the champagne. And Teemu, it's been a long time coming, and you finally pulled it off.
Yeah, it looked very good at the start, but then halfway I noticed that, I don't have enough fuel, and I had to start taking fuel. It was very fast weather, and I needed 1 or 2 clicks more fuel. Luckily, I noticed it that early, but I still ran out of fuel. Exiting last corner, I started stuttering, but I was very lucky that Alex had problems with his VR set, so that's why there was gap behind last lap.
Yeah, well, you certainly sound happy, Teemu, and that was something in chasing all throughout the last couple of seasons, ever since race number 1. But Alex didn't make it easy for you. Just describe your emotional state throughout this race.
Yeah, but at the start I was very nervous seeing Alex was behind me, but at some point I tried to run away. But after I noticed the fuel situation, I knew that it's impossible to run away. I have to save fuel every time it's possible, and then just try to block the inside lines and fight for it. So it was somehow easier. I expected actually to not make it because of the fuel situation. It was it was very lucky. I should not have been it with that fuel. That's for sure. I was lucky.
Yeah, but you were lucky, but you were also good enough. I mean, you fought through all the hardship and even a bit of a calculation mistake by yourself, then, fought all the way to the victory lane. So before we switch the languages here, just for our viewers, you fought versus Alex so very hard all throughout the race, and he threw in a couple of attacks. You were side by side, both sideways. How much does a driver at that point look to the other driver, and how much do they just focus on keeping the car under control?
I look way too much the other driver, but it's one of the reasons I choose to be on outside in those situations. I get better exit, and I'm not again in trouble in next corner, and I can focus more on my own line. Don't need to worry that much about drifting into other car and so on. But then again, I kind of trusted Alex to hold his lines and so on. So he did a couple of scary moves, but we survived.
No, Teemu, koko kauden verran on ollut paljon suomalaisia faneja katsomassa näitä kilpailuita. Mä tiedän itse yhden veljesparin, jotka on katsonut näitä kilpailuita, ja siellä on moni ollut, että Teemu ja Antti ei kertaakaan onnistunut voittaa, että voittaako ne koskaan. Ja nyt tuli sit se hetki, kun nostit sinivalkoiset värit huipulle taas kerran tässä sarjassa, ensimmäinen suomalaisvoittaja tällä kaudella sunnuntai-kilpailuissa. Millainen fiilis on?
Vähän erikoinen. Jos olisi ollut ihan normaali kisa ja voittoa ja taistelemalla, niin olisi parempi. Jotenkin toi bensatilanne häiritsee nyt siinä, että tuli sellainen mukaan tehtyä. Mutta se kuitenkin voitti. Se on tietenkin se vähän annoin tasoitusta siinä vähän, että Kyllä mä luulen, että mä olisin karkuajan, jos pensaassa ollut ongelma. Mä olisi lopussa ollut kyllä vauhtia painaa alhaisia 11 siellä.
Okay, so asking Teemu there, how is he feeling after the first win and bringing Finland back to the forefront where we belong? And Teemu was responding that, yeah, he is feeling a little bit strange. You know, it doesn't feel as good as it would normally be because of the fuel situation, but it still feels good to obviously win. Teemu, vielä tähän loppuun kiitoksia, kuulumisia, terveisiä. Otetaan 2 kotimaisella. Tai ei ehkä 2 kotimaisella. Mä en tiedä millainen tuossa ruotsin kieli on. Ei ole tarpeeksi hyvä kääntämään, mä tiedän se kuitenkin. Eli otetaan ihan enkuksi suomeksi. Kiitokset, kuulumiset, terveiset vielä tähän loppuun.
Well, thanks for every Lotus 79 driver and you guys for broadcasting and for very good commentating and so on. But yeah, nothing. Eli kaikille Lotus 79 kuskeille ja näille broadcastajille kiitokset ja katsojille myös, jotka tätä nyt katsoo.
Thank you, Teemu. Kiitos, Teemu. Asking there just for greetings and so on, and sending greetings. Pretty much the same guys in both of the languages. Now we're going to allow Nick Schmeek to have a word with the man who finished in 2nd place today.
Absolutely. We've caught up to Alex Millward, who finished just behind Teemu Vaskalampi for the win. Lots of sideways action from you today, Alex, and you almost got the job done. Put us in the cockpit, put us in your position, and take us through the last couple of laps trying to chase down the number 4.
Oh my god, yeah, Teemu, sorry. Great race, stuck behind his gearbox all the time, and it's quite disheartening for him to say he was fuel saving half the race. Come on, man. I was pushing, and anytime I got close, his defense was awesome. Yeah, one of the best races I've been in on 9 years of iRacing. It was only ruined in the very last lap. My sensor just stopped working for my Rift, so I was actually sat outside the car on the left wheel. I don't know, it's never happened before. It was really mechanical failure.
Yeah, right. It makes it all the more impressive just to keep up with him. So, I mean, it is... Regardless, I mean, you finished way above, Frisch and Lepisto and all these big names. It's got to feel like some sort of a win, though, today, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think me and Teemu have been back and forth trying to beat each other's hot lap pace all week. So it just came to this. A bit of lockdown pressure on each other. And to be fair to Gernot and Antti, we haven't seen them too much in the practice sessions. So I'll probably just put that down to their lack of... But congrats to Teemu.
Yeah, absolutely. It is ironic. I was going to say that Teemu was in your position last week at Monza, finishing just behind. And then he was able to come back and, finish off the Cinderella story today at Laguna Seca. Can you do that next week at Interlagos as well, do you think? Do you think you can get back and be competitive there as well?
Maybe. I don't know if I'll be running Interlagos. It's not really one I've ever fell in love with. We'll see. I don't think I'll be as fast as Teemu was or we were this week, that's for sure.
That's what Teemu said about Laguna Seca.
Well, I've still got my heart palpitating out of my chest here after those last couple of laps.
I believe it. That was exciting for us, let alone, and we weren't even down on the track. Before we let you go, Alex, thank you so much for stopping by. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks, Mum and Dad, Katie, Tom, Dirty Talk, and all you guys for commentating, and basically just all of the CTC community. It's been great recently. Everyone's been really active and getting involved, so it's really nice to see.
Awesome. It's been a great one to be a part of, and like I said, thanks for stopping by. Hope to be able to talk to you again before season's end.
Ciao, guys.
That's Alex Millward finishing second place today. We haven't caught up with our third place finisher. We have caught up with the driver we don't normally get to talk to today. Ozzy, you've caught up with the driver who finished down in 15th place, Barry West.
Sure, it is the man who goes west, and he certainly went far west today, all the way to the coast into Laguna Seca. Barry West, 15th place. You caught up with Marc-Andre on the last lap, and you had a... Well, how was your race, actually? Tell me. I see. It was very interesting then. A little bit of technical difficulty there. Microphone probably not working. So let's see if we can hear something from Barry within the next 15 seconds. If not, just a quick reminder to you folks that this series continues for 2 more weeks. And the championship is going to be on the line. So if you want to see battles like today, don't miss it for the upcoming weeks. Barry, we got you? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. Yeah, nah. Nick, take it away.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to talk to Barry today. Some technical difficulties, but that is going to do it for us today. We want to give a special thank you to everyone who came out today for the 10th round in the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, including all the drivers who put on the show for us today. It was a great one. An additional thanks to all the amazing companies that provided the software and hardware that we use to create a GSRC production for you. We also, of course, want to thank the very talented June Lalonde who provides our music. See the screen for more on how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the crew today in the booth, Ozzy, Joe, and Dougie. Don't forget to check us out on social media. You can head over to our website, globalsimracingchannel.com, where you can help show your support by picking up some awesome GSRC merch. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, on Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, on Instagram at GSRC_Graham, and you've already found our YouTube channel, so if you haven't subscribed, hit that big red button so you don't miss a second of racing. The Weekend Warriors are taking their SRFs to Brazil this afternoon, where they'll race at Interlagos at 3:45 p.m. Eastern today. Be sure to join us over there for that one on the iRacing Esports Network. To see more of today's racing, we're going to follow them down there. Hopefully their flight hasn't left yet for the penultimate round next week, which will also be at Interlagos. With all that being said, thanks so much for joining us today, and until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.